Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond. I'm back. I am the executive director of Black Trans Women's Inc. and the host of Marsha's Plate podcast. And today we are going to talk about trans people competing in anything, like not just sports. We're going to cover some sports, but there has been a lot of incidents where trans people are the first competing in many things, game shows, pageants, sports, da 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 da. And it is sending people, baby. It is popping people's motherfucking transphobia out. And so, yeah. So, how is everybody doing? It ain't been that long. It's been about 2 weeks because I couldn't come last week because I was at a conference in DC and the internet at the hotel that I was staying at the Airbnb that I was staying at, was not reliable. So I couldn't do a live, but yeah. Musa, Zaira, Brandon, Alexander, CL, how are y'all? Hey, Miss B, what's going on in you all's life? This is a hard month for me. This is the year anniversary of my mother's death. My mother died on December the 18th of last year. Her birthday is December the 4th. So this month is probably for the rest of my life going to be like a hard month. So I am starting a tradition in the month of December to actually use this month as my like break month, like to really do some really self-care stuff and things to honor my mom and things that make me feel joy during this time instead of it being anniversary of a dark moment in my life. I'm going to actually start a tradition with myself to do something amazing, to do something fun in honor of my mother. So I am going to Cancun for Christmas from the 21st to the 27th. And only negative about that is that um, the Matrix, which I've been waiting on for years, comes out during that time, and I don't want to go to no movie theater in Mexico. So I'm kind of annoyed by that, but I'll see it when I get back. But yes, I am so excited about going to Mexico on for Christmas. And so that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start doing something that I haven't done, some type of traveling, some type of fun thing in December so that I can so I can feel good. So I can feel good about missing and honoring my mommy. So yeah. I'm trying to get my brothers to be a part of it, but child, they they are unreliable. We'll try next year. But yeah, this year, um, Matrix will be on HBO Max too. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Ew. So I might can watch it on my computer. I don't know. It's just something about it's certain movies, franchises that I want to see on the big screen. Are y'all like that? Like if and they're not going to make another one of these, but each time that like the Lord of the Rings came out, I have to go to the movie theater to see it. Each time the Matrix comes out, I have to go to the movie theater and see it. It's something about I don't get the same I like the movie experience. I don't know. It's just something about me. I like the movie experience. So yes, I like the convenience of sitting at home and watch. There's certain things like I wish like Spencer. I wanted to see Spencer, but I don't need to go to the movie to see that. I would have loved if Spencer came on HBO Max. um, like when Mulan came out with Disney. I like those movies. I don't mind seeing it on, the TV, but it's certain movies I want the movie experience. It's such an epic, amazing movie. Think about if we saw Avatar at home. Like Avatar was such a uh, uh, just such a fucking immaculate movie that I just would not have enjoyed it on the TV as much as I went to see Avatar probably like um same thing with Black Panther. I went to see Black Panther like 4 times at the movie because it just was such a movie. Same thing with Avatar. I think I've seen Avatar like two or three. I still need to see the Tammy Faye Baker movie. Yeah, I want to see that, but I'm not gonna go to the theater for that. I can see that on the TV. It makes it more than just a movie. It makes it experience. Absolutely, absolutely. The brick string, the loud noises, the act of leaving the house and making an event of the movie. Also, the interaction with the crowd. Now, I don't like I was about to say ratchet interaction. I'm trying to change my verbiage because ratchet has a certain anti-black connotation. So I'm trying to change my language. I don't like that. Um, like ratchet and ghetto. Usually ratchet, ghetto, urban. Those words have anti-black connotation, so you got to watch how you use it. When you hear it, that those are dog whistles to be racist and anti-black. Clock it. Um, I don't like it to be, I don't like too much of a I like appropriate audience responses. Um, I don't know how to define appropriate, but y'all sometimes it's too much. It's like, shut up, enjoy the movie. But then sometimes it's a authentic reaction to the audience that seems authentic. Like I'm not just trying to have you sometimes when you're in a movie theater, you hear a person that is not responding more so to the film. They're trying to get the audience around them to respond to them. They're trying to steal attention from the movie and get it to themselves. So they're making jokes that they want other people to laugh at. I don't like shit like that. I like people who respond to the movie authentically. Like, no, like if somebody is doing something that's stupid and you say, nah, like no, don't do that. Or or you know what I'm saying? Somebody is having a hard time making a decision in the film, and you like take them back, or some type of authentic response to the movie, not the you just trying to be a class clown. Does it make sense? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I don't like that. But I do enjoy the experience of film at the same time other people are experiencing it. A good collective gas. Yes, I love a collective gas. Like you like, oh shit. And everybody's like, what? Shit like that. I love that kind of thing. I love that. They try to compete with being the entertainment along with the movie. Yeah, that shit's tired. I hate that shit. Um, yes, all of that is what I like, or a plot twist that didn't nobody expect. And it was like, yes, that kind of shit. I like that. I don't know. It's just something about that experiences that are really, really, really great in the movie going experience. So I really love that. And when you're sitting on your seat and all that kind of stuff. Not to mention trans women made the movie right. Yes. I think they came out in the middle of the process, like in a couple of movies in. I think they transitioned. Um, I don't know if they transitioned. I can't remember when they transitioned, but yeah. But there's a couple of things. I learned recently that Switch, from the first that died in the first Matrix, Switch, the one with the white hair that wore the white suits. I heard Switch was supposed to be a trans character, and Warner said that they weren't ready for that. Yeah, it was kind of. That's kind of interesting. And so now that we're in a whole different era of trans, why wouldn't you put some trans people in this new one? You feel what I'm saying? Go if they weren't ready for it in the first one. I get it. That was back. When did Matrix come out? Like early 2000s? I can't remember when the Matrix came out, the first one. But yeah, if they weren't ready then, why not do it on this new one? Especially since y'all fucking fired or didn't call um Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne back. I feel like that's disrespectful. I feel like part of the something about that is racist and disrespectful. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that Lawrence Fishburne is still living and y'all didn't offer him to come back to the role. I feel like that's weird. I don't like it. Yes, Yaya is my husband. I love him. I want to see him on every screen that could be screened, even the XXX screen. But um, I feel like it's disrespectful not to include him when he was such a big part of the franchise. Like what? Like even it and then was it ages? I don't know. Then what doesn't make sense is they aged um Jada Pinkett Smith's character. So he could have been he could have been these are he could have been something else. Like I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I just feel it's disrespectful. It's like it would be like having what is old boys that plays Gandalf? Ian McGregor. Is that not Ian McGregor? That's not his name. Is that his name? What's the gay guy's name that plays Gandalf? It's like making another Lord of the Rings and not having Gandalf in it, the original Gandalf, or having him in some kind of capacity. I don't know. That's weird. Especially if they were a part of the whole franchise early on. That's kind of weird. I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. No, it's different. Like with Harry Potter, Dumbledore changed, but Dumbledore changed early in the franchise. He is supposed to be the younger Morpheus. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't know how they played it, but not at all. He didn't come in at all. The older Morpheus. Okay. Is he supposed to be the? Oh, I'm asking. Like, child, I don't know. I didn't see it. Nobody saw it. I don't know, but I guess that will work. I don't know. I just feel that's weird. Bring the people back that we're used to, even if they're in a small role. That switch up, um, even like um Mr. Anderson, even that dude, he had I see there's a new version of that program, but you see old boy's face. I don't know. I hope they don't disappoint me in that kind of way. But no. I know it's not a hope. Lawrence Fishburne has released a statement and said that they didn't ask him back, so he's not back. Yeah, that's so late and tired. I don't like that. But anyway, yes, this is a new time, a new age. So why wouldn't you, as trans people directing this, bring one trans character? If there was supposed to be a trans character in the earlier ones and Warner wasn't ready for it. I don't know. But yeah, I plan to go to Mexico and I'll probably if yeah, I'm glad you reminded me that it can be on HBO. But no, I'm probably gonna go wait till the week after to go see it in the movies just so I can have the experience. Wait till I come on back to the crib. And so I'm gonna be after that. I don't have anything planned other than work in January. I'll be in New Orleans for the Create and Change conference. If you are a conference goer or your job can send you to an LGBT conference, have them fund your way to get to New Orleans because I will be at the Creating Change conference working. And after that, oh, at the end of the month, I will be receiving the Monica Roberts Award from from Equality Texas. They are honoring me this year. Um, and I'm so humbled and excited by that. Um, it's one of the first times Texas, no, or specific organizations have honored me, but like a big Texas organization has honored me. I'm usually honored in other places, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, Texas is doing it this year, and I'm so excited about that. That's going to be in January, so I get to dress up and get me a gown. I have two gowns that I'm thinking about wearing. Y'all want to see them? Hey Vaughn, how are you? Emery. Let me see if I can get them. So one is red and one is orange. So let me go get them. So this is, I can't see it. All right. So I don't, y'all can't really get the effects of this one. This one is a red gown, like a regular red sheath dress, but it has long, like a long cape train that covers your shoulders and it down all the way down to the ground. You can't really get the effects of this dress until you put it on. It looks like a fucking church robe, like that. But it's beautiful on. It hugs all my curves, and it is beautiful and regal and red and beautiful. Now this one is gorgeous. This one is a orange, tangerine orange ball gown, halter top little ball gown that has this amazing little bow tie gig, not bow tie, bow detail. And it is so shiny and pretty and fucking big and long and gorgeous, and it fits perfectly. The girls be sitting up and just so gorgeous. I fucking love it. It is amazing. So those are going to be my two options. Put it on the couch. I have other gowns, but those are the ones that I feel like those are the ones that I fucking love. Show and tell. Yes. So those are the ones that I love. They make me feel feminine. They make me feel love. And I my hair has been white, but I have dyed it back red. So I'm probably gonna go a brighter red. And so a brighter, like orangey ass red. And so it's gonna go perfect with those colors. And but the red is so regal. It's like it's just a form fitted red dress, but it's caped on the shoulders and it longs and it goes all the way down to the ground, all covering all your arms. And you know your arms come out of it, of course, and it goes, it's like a train dragon with the fucking with the gown. Ooh, it's so regal and beat. I'm gonna wear turquoise jewelry with it. The orange is so shiny and bright. I haven't decided. I think that I'm gonna wear black. If it doesn't translate to too much pumpkiny. But if I wear the orange, I'm probably going to. I haven't decided on the jewelry with the orange. I haven't decided, but yeah, but it's gorgeous. this one, I got this dress from a company called um Grass Fields. Yes, Grass Fields. Ooh, super. I love me old nasty bellowing sleeve, and the boobs being out, you know, long. I'm probably gonna take this to Mexico because it's super thin, like see-through. Like you can't see through it based on the lighting here, but you can see through it. And so it's not gonna be hot, but it's gonna be sickening. So I'm gonna wear this. Oh, let me show y'all this. This dress is gay as hell, but I got it. But I got it. Oh, thank you, Miss Polk, for the donation. I got it for my beach trip because I want to be, honey, super fabulous on the beach trip. But this, it is so big, y'all, like big. And if it's something, I'm a big girl. I'm like 5'11", like 310. So I'm a big girl. I'm not a small woman on any account. And so if a dress is big, like as in on me, it's big as hell. But let me show y'all this. This is for my beach day. When I go, I'm gonna be on the beach all the time. But this one is super flowy. So look, now this is this. It goes all the way like a fucking. It's so fucking huge. It is so flowy and pretty. It looks like it reminds me of a hot air balloon. It's chiffon and it's relaxed. I'm gonna wear some sickening ass sandals or something, but it is so cute. I got this from Grassfield too, and it is so comfortable and light. I fucking love it. It is so fucking cute. Same, I'm 6 foot and huge billowing dress on me are like circus tents to everyone else. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Red, I think is one of your best colors. Yeah, I love red. Red, blue. My favorite the colors that look great on my skin are any kind of red, any type of blue, any kind of like tan, camel, brown, shit like that always look great on black women. Um, but yeah, red, royal blue, and yeah, red, royal blue are my colors. They wear it out. Looking for a good twirl. Exactly. I'm gonna be on the beach twirling, bitch. Woo! Woo! Because it's so big. Like it's so big that I have to lift it up with my hands, like old school girls. I love dresses that make me feel like, like Victorian era. So I can't walk in it unless I lift it up. And I love that. I love that. Love, 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 love. I know I'm gonna be being, honey, a straight faggot, a straggot. Just for the kiki of it. Oh, you can house a small family under the twirl of the dress. Yes, I'm gonna be gay as hell. Super gay. Oh, all right. So we have, yeah. So anyway, let's go into the topics. And remember, we're going to cover a topic. So try to stay focused on the topic. And then the last 30 minutes of the conversation, I'll just open the floor up. So save any kind of non subject matter for that time. Um, Make sure y'all thumbs up. I see it is 26 people in here and only 9 people has thumbs up. If you are a regular, thumbs up. If you are new here, you can wait. But if you've been here, thumbs up. All right. So let me get these links because y'all know I have some links ready for y'all. Because I ain't been in a while, so I had to come prepared to have the discussion. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Hmm. I don't know what's going on. People are just so randomly hitting me up about dumb shit. All right, so first and foremost, let's start off with Miss Nevada. So 2021, Miss Nevada will be the first openly transgender woman competing in the stereotypically cisgender only Miss USA contest. Who owns Miss USA? Does Donald Trump still own Miss USA? Or what? Or does he own Miss America? I can't remember. Y'all tell me. I can't remember exactly which one. Um, but yes, um, wearing a rainbow sequins gown she designed herself in honor of Pride Month, Cataluna Enriquez made history last weekend when she was crowned Miss Nevada in the USA pageant. The win will make her the first openly transgender contestant to compete in the upcoming Miss USA pageant this fall. My win is our win, she posted afterwards on her Instagram in a message to the LGBT community. We just made history. Happy Pride. She also says, no words can describe how much I am grateful to her pageant mommy, Miss Rosie, for the contestant support, for welcoming me in their home and feeding me nothing but love. She thanks her team. She says she thanks people for their love, support, and sisterhood, and all the many times and giggles that they had together. Are they say she says it's irreplaceable, and so she just thanks everybody. Of course, there are people who are like, "Ma'am, no," because transphobia is running rampant. So let's go to her post because I know we're gonna see we're gonna see people comment. So one of the first comments that I see in the comments, it says, "Not to take away from her crown, but I don't feel like this is fair. They need their own competition. This is going too far." Now, I find these kind of sentiments um, quite hypocritical, but somebody else that says US is in a huge amount of trouble. Another person says, I'm pretty sure this pageant was staged. She is all these things, and out of 1,000 of women, she just happened to win. Our country is too sensitive. This is fake. This pageant is staged. Um, Miss America has become a joke. And then somebody, of course, they're going to say this. Even without the crown, I can tell which is a man. Come on, man. Enough. Stop pushing this agenda in our faces. So, of course, you knew this kind of response was going to happen. Trump sold it in 2015. Thank you, that squishy boy. Thank you. And LeBeau 95. Thank you. Hey, Coco. Hey, both Cocos. Um, yes. Da, 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 da. One could argue that she is at the disadvantage. Yes, Marissa. That's why I think it's so funny because they say that trans women are when we're talking about sports, it's like, oh, trans women because they were born male have an advantage. So it is unfair to the cisgender women. You would think that by that logic, cool. In the pageant, you would think that the natal born women have the advantage. So, I mean, how is it unfair? She's the one that has to really, 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 really undo her nature to actually be seen as a woman. And so, if that's the case, she's actually coming in to with a disadvantage. Logical to me. So how are you saying this is unfair? How is it unfair? That doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And it doesn't make sense because transphobia doesn't make sense. And so they're going to try to do whatever, make any kind of logic work that that really disenfranchises us. And so what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about her winning the pageant, competing in the pageant? Because it feels like this is not the same thing, but it feels like this is not a race issue, but it is. If you think about the history, this is a gender identity issue. So I don't want you to conflate them and think of me saying that they're the same. What I'm saying is that look at some of the parallels. And one of the parallels is whoever is the ruling class always defines the terms of what the second class citizens are. The second class citizens being Black people, the second class citizens being women, the second class citizens being who is in this country, who is an American and who is not an American, so therefore immigrants. Um, and so they determine who can be the ruling class. And the ruling class in this country is white people. And so, depending on who you are, they're going to define what whiteness is. They're going to define, and all this shit is arbitrary. They're going to define what whiteness is, what a woman is. They're going to define what an American is. And so, a lot of the groups that are not a part of the ruling class, they they're they are not only systematically but culturally um, pushed out of these labels. So, Black people was pushed out of human, just the actual being a human label. Actually, like they had to prove that they weren't monkeys, that they weren't cattle, that they weren't some type of animal that could be bought, sold, or less than white people. They literally had to prove that we are human, just as smart, da 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 da, in order to get some kind of semblance of humanity and the rights and the spoils and whatever comes with along with being a human American in this country. And so that's just on a slavery, but on a woman aspect, like I say this all the time that race is the ugly new child, and new being, you know, the categories and the concept of race is fairly new in the concepts of in human existence, but the concept of gender is even further. And so where racial oppression is quite new, and I don't mean new like it came in the 60s, but new as it's been around, since I can't remember his name because I don't remember white people's name that are racist and dumb. But some ignorant white man putting himself out as a scientist was creating false science around race. Um, there's tons of historical references to him that you can Google if you need to. Um, so, but that's fairly new. Female oppression is goes way, 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 way back to Mesopotamia. And so for me, when I think about how they have the rules of what a woman is and how that kind of shifts based in culture, shifts based in even in American culture, what was feminine and what was when we think about books like Belly of the Beast, when we think about books like Sabrina Singer's I can't remember what is it called. Something the fearing the black body, fearing the fat black body, or something like that. Is that what's the name of it? I'm gonna have to look 1 second. Let me go to my library. Fearing the Black Body by Sabrina Stringer. Like a lot of books, The Belly of the Beast, a lot of books have laid out the history of how it went from we like voluptuous women to we like skinny, svelte, bony ass women because that's more feminine and more womanly. And how that connection to anti-blackness, how it shifted from Africans are beautiful to Africans are subhuman in order to fit that pro-slavery narrative. Do you feel what I'm saying? Um, and how what we see this now just in speed. We see it in a fast pace because we have technology. How they are shifting the narrative and shifting what happens and what how we are defining certain terms, defining certain things. We see how they are shifting these kind of conversations in real time. We see how the right wing conservative, how people are shifting their opinions and criminality of whoever and views and spinning stories and spinning things to fit their narrative. Right now, we see how the left wing does it. We see how the right wing does it. We see how moderates do it. Like when we think about like how shitty Biden is of a president, how middle of the road and how it's not really very helpful. And they're trying to spin things like when we the Speaker of the House recently, and I know I'm going on a tangent, recently was saying, what do you want everybody to do? You want us to send COVID tests to everybody in America? Yes, we do. Yes. If that's what it requires. Yes, we have the money. We figured out how to make money and give stipends and da 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 da. We always figure out how to do shit that we don't want to do. One thing about Trump is, unlike the left, when he got the right wing, when they put their people in office, they people do something to satiate their people. Even though it was a foolhardy goal, he was trying to get that wall done. So what they say they're trying to do when it comes to abortion, they're trying to get it done. They take the actions to get shit done for their people. Whereas the left, they make all kinds of promises, and then when they get into office, it's like, oh, we gotta reach across the aisle. Oh, we gotta. It's just so hard trying to find something that's bipartisan. Oh, it's so hard to try to work together and bring everybody together to do stuff, and the Republicans are stopping it on every turn. But for some reason, y'all motherfuckers ain't stopping shit. The Republican is at least getting something done. That nigga was doing travel bans. He was doing something to make his people happy. Something. But with us, on our side, our people don't play to us because they know, particularly black people and queer people, they know that who else are we gonna vote for if not them? We ain't gonna go over there unless we clowns and coons and fuckers. We're not gonna go over there. So we either not gonna go to the polls or we're gonna vote for them. That's all it's gonna be. But anyway, I'm sorry. I went on a tangent. But anyway, so they talk about how we define. I'm talking about how what we define as woman, what we define as feminine, what we define as the status quo of femininity and womanhood has always been white, female, um, in this country has always been white and female. It hasn't always been skinny, um, but it shifted to skinny. It has always been so. Black women have always been battling to be included in that definition. You feel what I'm saying? No, they're not coming from a gender identity. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Maybe, but they're not coming from a space of gender identity or it's more of a humanity thing, but it's got a gender identity too. Because look at the classic statement from Sojourner Truth, ain't I a woman? And the reason she was responding to that, she was responding to the people talking about how women should be the men who were in positions of power were talking about how women should be treated with respect. They should be catered to. There should be chivalry happening. And her response to that was, ain't I a woman? Because she was a black woman and they weren't doing that. And it's part of that speech. There's some questions around its authenticity. What the fuck is going on with my words? Authenticity. um, because she was Dutch. She was born in that area. She was Dutch, so she wouldn't have sounded country with a country dialect. But anyway, but her response, the response was yo, like y'all talking about putting coats over puddles for white women. Yeah, and white women shouldn't be working, but y'all not applying that to us. And we women, ain't I a woman? Why don't I get that same kind of respect, that same kind of shit? So even them, because they were being pushed out of womanhood conceptually, they were even questioning that. And I don't know if is that a humanity thing? Is that a gender identity thing? You get what I'm saying? Like, ain't I a woman? Like you are not, you are pushing me out of this. But back in them days, that was the norm to push them out of that. But now we have gotten comfortable because people's fight, people's the battles that have been won, and we have gotten to the point where not always, but black women are, this is the motherland, and they are the mothers of all humanity, and da da da. So we have the reason why we got to proclaim that. One of the reasons why that is an important flex, because if it was not important, it wouldn't be important if that racist history hadn't happened. Why black women get to have the flex of mitochondrial Eve was a woman in Africa. Why that is a flex is because they are like that is something that push back against a narrative that white is supreme, that that they're not women, that they're less than human, less than women, more animalistic, more masculine, more manly. It is no coincidence that every athlete, every um um woman with not them small ass features is considered more masculine when we think about Serena Williams and all that kind of stuff. It is no coincidence though those kind of comments are coming from not only the non-black people, but even some like black men and queer men and people who are and black women, other black women who have those type of anti-black indoctrination into their psyche to where, oh, she looked like a man. Or I was watching something, I was reading an article about Dr. Dre's wife, and people were in the comments, and you look in the comments, it's like, oh, she looked like a man to me. And I'm like, that don't even have anything to do with the subject matter, and you are bringing that up. Why is that? Why when you go under Serena's post, and this is the history of disenfranchising women, black women, to not be a part of that femininity, that ability to be feminine, ability to be a woman, ability to be that type of thing. And so it relates to this subject when we talk about this trans woman coming into the fold of a typical beauty pageant thing. That's why um um Vanessa Williams, why it was important in the 80s when she was the first black woman pageant, because black women have been pushed out of those spaces. Y'all are not refined enough. First of all, at first it was y'all are not women. Y'all are beneath us. Y'all are subhuman. Y'all are cattle. And then over hundreds of years, it shifts to y'all are not refined enough. Y'all don't know how to read after making it illegal that they didn't know how to read. But then when they start reading, mm, y'all are just not refined enough. Y'all might can read, but y'all just not refined enough. The line always shifts. It always shifts what in a way that makes them not just women just yet. You see what I'm saying? I hope you are y'all following the parallel. I hope I'm making sense. And then once they learn how to read, once they start dressing like ladies and start getting into higher society. And now, of course, that's when the colorism conversation come in. That's when the colorism start to show like, oh, you're too dark to be feminine. You need to be light. Oh, this other one right here, this black woman, she's light skinned, so she's a little bit closer and cleaner and, closer to womanhood than you, dark girl. Do you see how? And this stuff happens over time. It doesn't happen fast. It happens over time and it shifts. And the finish line of what a woman is, what's feminine, what could be considered feminine, what could be considered a woman, the line shifts and shifts and shifts and shifts and shifts, shift. And so when we have these moments of certain people crossing over to that line, the very high yellow, blue-eyed Vanessa Williams crossing that line. And then we have and then usually people who crosses the line after that one person crosses the line, they're a little bit more blacker. They got something that's a little tweaked, because look at Kenya Moore, beautiful chocolate girl, but she got them green eyes, so that makes her the exceptional Negro. Oh, she's a chocolate girl, but she got that exotic. She got them gorgeous green eyes that pop, and so yeah, we can get her across the line. Um, it's always something that's white adjacent or exotic adjacent. It's always something. Oh, they definitely gave her hell because she still was a black woman. But how colorism works, she wouldn't have even got there to get that hell. She wouldn't, if she was a dark girl, she wouldn't have even got there to get that kind of hell. To get across the line to even get to be in the running. Anyway, so trans women, it is now our turn to um we are crossing these lines. They are letting us in. They are opening the door and accepting us in these spaces um, for our truth. And of course, we're going to come up against, you know, the typical beauty standards, how close you are, to being Caucasian. That's what's going to decide if you are the one that can cross the lines. And this is, let me put this in the thing so y'all can read the article if y'all want to. So the next one, the next one, the next one. So on with that theme, we have Amy Snyder. Amy Snyder has made Jeopardy history, um, and helped the show finds calm after the chaos of its new host. Now, y'all know I'm pissed off with Jeopardy for not hiring LeVar Burton as the new host. I think he was such an easy choice, but they hired somebody else and he didn't even work out. Girl, they're so late. But anyway, Amy Snyder, 2 weeks ago, um, the host, Ken Jennings, kicked off the show by telling the audience that Andrew, um, wait. Never mind. Snyder is a 40-year-old trans woman. She was so excited. She is an older trans woman who is, transitioned after living the life of a regular white married man. But she dreamed of going on Jeopardy. She's an engineer manager from Oakland, California. And she is one of the first Jeopardy champions to like win and play the game, and one of the top players to compete. And I think that is kind of amazing. I've always dreamed of going on Jeopardy. That would have been, I probably wouldn't have made it to the championship because I don't be getting a lot of shit right. Because it's too many subjects, too much of a wide range of subject for me to play that game. But I love it. I'm so excited when I get it right. Um, but yes, she actually um was one of the top contenders, and I fucking love that. Um, and so her in this space of competing, and people, even her situation, her getting backlash from people for Jeopardy. Like, it's like, what? Like, y'all really just, it's really not about fairness. Um, it's not about any of that. It is about y'all just don't want us to fucking exist. And it doesn't matter what we do. Y'all just don't want us to exist. And y'all are just pissed off that we are now, people are letting, for so many years, people were telling trans people, the world is just not ready for that. It's like when, it's the parallels. There's so many things when we talk about. I just got through reading Diane Carroll's book, um, called "The Legs Are the Last to Go." I listened to her audiobook, and I learned so much. Did y'all know that Christine Jorgensen, the first white trans woman sex change in America that got popular in America, she's the one that taught Diane Carroll how to bow to the audience, like how to engage with the audience after she performs, like how the things to do after that. Christine Jorgensen taught her that. The trans woman. Ain't that crazy? I thought that was sickening to find out. But it's called "The Legs Are the Last to Go" by Diane Carroll. And it just has some amazing moment because Diane Carroll is fabulous. Um, um, it's burned. Yes. Uh, this is what she say. What she say about the caviar? I wouldn't know, darling. This is osteotrova. I prefer osteobluga or something she said. I love that part. And the part when she says, I don't sleep with my clothes, or something about not sleeping with her clothes. She narrated yes, it's her. She's reading it herself. I love it. She talks about her marriages. She talks about Sidney Poitier being a fuck boy to her. She talked about Otto Preminger being fucking asshole about her black hair. It's really, really good. Y'all, I love it. This is this one. Hold on. So if you have Audible, honey, check it out. I love it, love it, love it. Um Otto Premature being a fuckboy about her black hair, and when she was warning him, honey, he wasn't listening to her and was trying to be an asshole. And then when they were filming, her motherfucking hair reverted to a motherfucking afro, and she said, "Nigga, I told you." Why you wasn't fucking listening to me, thinking you know everything. But anyway, yes, y'all need to. It's so good. It's so many black ass moments in there. Now, of course, you know Diane Carroll is Queen Mother respectability politics. So and class and that. So there that's a problematic thing, but you know, that was her era. That was the era. They had to go through that in the era that she was in. The doors weren't opening if you weren't that kind of girl. Um and so but learning about that was amazing. So definitely read that. And so what point was I making with that? Yes. Part of the narrative in that time, the white people were saying, "We're not. They the world is not ready for the first Black Negro boom. The world is not ready for the first Black Negro boom. This." And then there was some people, even them being racist or having racist qualities about themselves, like Otto Preminger, um, who objectified Dorothy Dandridge, and it just was some weird ass shit. They there was some of them were willing to take risk. Let's make the Carmen Jones an all black cast with Dorothy Dandridge and Harry Belafonte and all these people, because he had a fetish for black women and a fetish for black people. It was what we see now when black DJ Khaled. Let me take all of these black things and create something with it, even though I'm not black. And make money off of it. There was those same type of white people back then, and Otto Preminger being one of them. And so they had that she explained so many tons of things of how these opportunities, while you from on a surface level, they like, oh my God, we're she did assimilate. Yes, absolutely. But then on certain levels she didn't. So that's why you gotta listen, because it was a thin line between what was respectability and was like, no, I'm a black woman. There was a proud blackness in there, but it's just how you were able to um show your blackness, like how you were able to show it, what was considered excellent, that what was considered assimilation and what was considered just black excellence. Like now, that it's a very real thin line between if you're assimilating to be white or if you're just trying to be great at what you're doing. It could ease that is like that. What you doing right there? It could be, it could be great, but it could be. Am I trying to be white, or am I just trying to be great at what I do? Which one is it? And so, yeah, it was hard. And so she's explained it. So, listen to the book or read the book. But they weren't ready for that. And so now that we're in a place where, now it's our time, now the black folks, we is we're having trivial first now for black folks. Oh, Tiana Taylor is the first black woman on the Maxim on the Maxim cover. What? It's like that child, get out of here. Um But now, trans people are having their first moments. Um, and we are in a space where finally people are saying, I think this story, this narrative, this person, I think the world is ready for it. But there was a lot of times where they was like, the world is not ready for this. And so now people are like, oh, they're throwing it in our face, the gay agenda, the LGBT people, when that's exactly what white folks were saying when they were putting Diane Carroll on, as Julia, as the first black woman to have a primetime TV show. Um, that white people were like, "Oh, we seeing all these niggas on TV. What's happening?" I remember back in my day when there wasn't no niggas on TV. They weren't good enough to be on TV. What is happening? We got Sammy Davis Jr. We got a Negro winning um Academy Award and Cindy Poitier. What the niggas are taking over? This is what white people were saying and thinking and writing their think pieces about in newspapers. This is what they were doing. They were doing the same exact shit, thinking that black people are taking over and getting too many, just getting too uppity. These niggas is doing too much. That's exactly how y'all sound when y'all talk about LGBT people like that. That's exactly how y'all sound. This gay agenda. Y'all are like COINTELPRO, child. All right. Who else? So, all right, then we have the next. So did I send y'all the yes, I did. I sent y'all the Jeopardy link, right? Right, I did, right? I did. And so then we have this one that is kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. This is kind of so Leah Thomas, transgender swimmer from University of Pennsylvania, from Penn, swims fastest time in the nation. The controversy is brewing. So a white trans woman is competing. Oh, that's too much. Oh, I can't send y'all that one because it's the fucking link is too long. Why the fuck you make this link to this fucking long? Let me see if that works. Oh, that did work. Okay. All right. So let's read it. So Leah won 3 events and swam the fastest times in the country in 2 of those races, but her swims are causing a stir because Thomas' status as a transgender athlete. Thomas competed for 3 years at Penn's men's team, but she did not compete in 2021 as the Ivy League canceled its athletics for the entire season due to COVID-19. But this year, Thomas became a member of the women's team for the first time. According to NCAA policy for transgender student athlete participation, Thomas would only be allowed to compete as a part of the women's team until completing 1 calendar year of testosterone suppression treatments. Hmm. While she is swimming slower than her lifetime best from her time when she was in the men's team, she has already achieved A cuts for the championships. In fact, Thomas has already swum time in 2 events faster than the swimming team, at least winning times at least from last year's NCAA. Um, let me see. Earlier in the season, I don't want to talk about that. Of course, it has raised controversy, particularly on social media, from those who believe that Thomas' sex at birth should disqualify her for competing in female sports events, despite the NCAA rules as athletes who are transitioning. The key question is to whether rules designed to allow trans athletes to participate in college athletics ensure a level of playing field of fairness for cis female athletes. So we have talked about this before, and I have made it very clear where I stand on this subject. I am on the fence because the research does not lean either way. There is some research that shows that with the right with testosterone, when you chemically put estrogen and suppress the testosterone, everything is equal. Da 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 da. But there's also, and even in how that there's not enough data in those type of research for it to be, oh, without a shadow of a doubt, this is fair. But also on the other end, they also don't have any research to support their claims either. So neither one of the sides has enough research done because, first of all, let's frankly and be fucking quite clear, they don't do enough research revolving around trans people, period. Period. I want you to understand that, period. So people acting like using their 8th grade biology concepts of fucking male, female, and testosterone and estrogen, most people don't even know if you ask them. Most dumb people don't even fucking know that men and women, we all produce estrogen and testosterone in our body and testosterone in our body. We all produce it. It's just different balances based on if you were born male, born female, and what happened and what kind of other nuances on a structural level in your brain and in your body and da 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 happen naturally, and where that balance is. There are going to be men who produce more testosterone than other men, and there are some men who produce really really low testosterone, so much so that sometimes women produce more testosterone than them, just on a natural level without including any kind of hormone therapy, anytime, any shit like that. There are some women who produce more testosterone than some men, and vice versa. Some men that produce more testosterone than some women. And so you look at the women in athletics, the African women in athletics, in the running races. Look how they are pushing them out of their competition because they naturally produce more testosterone. But nobody is pushing out men who produce more testosterone than other men. Do you see what I'm saying? So there is a transphobic, there's misogynoir, there is a sexist conversation that is happening when we talk about these issues. There's a lot of issues that y'all really don't fucking it's not really about trying to be fair to women because y'all don't really care about women. Y'all want to, it's transphobia that is, y'all really don't like trans people. It don't have anything to do with you trying to protect women, because we can look at fucking abortion rights and the rights that they have. Totally different subject, but you don't care about women because most women want to have the right to an abortion. That's what the polls are saying it. So you don't really care about fairness to women, because if you care about fairness to women, there would be a lot of things that women would be a part of there that they are not a part of. Look at why are we not revamping the Supreme Court? Why not half women, half men? Since you care about fairness to women, why are you not fighting for that? Why are you worried about sports? That's just a game. When we talk about the effects on people's life, the Supreme Court seems more important. Why are you not trying to make that fair? You don't really care about fairness of women at all. You don't really care at all. Um, and how I know you don't care about, you trying to say we want to make it fair, or we want to make it safe because you're competing against women. You might harm them because you got this man strength that you were born with. But then we have people like, let me show y'all this article. We have people like Tony Harris. Tony Harris is the first woman, she's a black woman, who got a full ride scholarship for football. But nobody, a cisgender woman playing football with the men, but I don't hear nobody saying, "Oh no, she can't." This is a cisgender woman who is playing. Oh no, 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 no. We can't let her play with the men. It's going to be dangerous for her. No, 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 no. We got to do petitions. We got to go to court. We got to make sure that that cisgender woman can't play with these men because it is unsafe for them, unsafe for her. She might get harmed. Nobody is doing that. If you were worried about the safety of people, then it would be across the board. But you're worried about trans people. That's what you're worried about. You don't want trans people to exist. You don't want them to compete. You're not worried about women's safety because then you would be doing that across the board. You would be like, Tony, come on now, girl. You cannot participate with the men. It's just going to be unsafe for you. But no, they're looking at Tony's case as like her breaking the glass ceiling. Oh yeah, she's badass. She's going to play with the guys because you don't care about her safety. You weren't worrying about the fairness of women's sports before. Are you worried about the fairness of pay in women's sports? How they get paid and how they get endorsed? Are you worried about the fairness in that? Are you worried about you just not worried about it? And the female athletes who have spoke for trans rights, they point out so many situations where they don't care about women. This is just a transphobic attack. They don't care at all because it wouldn't be. It would you would have different responses in other circumstances. Y'all just don't like trans people, man. And I wish I would just say that, but y'all can't because y'all know y'all on the wrong side of history. They can stop playing. I'm indifferent. Maybe it would be more passionate about this if I actually cared about sports. I agree, Marissa. I'm not a sporty bitch. I don't know too many trans women that is trying to play sports. But I know we are not a monolith. So I know that there are going to be some trans women who do play sports and who are into that and who are, who are going to be trying to compete in high school, junior high, and careers in college and so on or whatever. Um, yeah, I just I, I know that all oppression is connected. I know that if they try to do it in the sports arena, they're going to try to do it everywhere else. They're going to try to figure a way to do it in wherever they can do it. Um, I also know that it's conservative white males who care so much, but they aren't doing their part to elevate these female teams in the media. Not at all. Because it's not about protecting women. These clowns don't care about women. They think women are the second class. They don't care about women. If a dude, even in that conversation I was talking about with Sojourner Truth, they weren't. Chivalry is not about taking care of women. That's what it is. That's the disguise. That's the disguise. Chivalry is not about taking care of women. It is about keeping you in your place, maintaining the status quo, maintaining the power of men. If I got you home in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, if I'm the only one who can own the property, so so I can, take care of you and you be home. You're not trying to come in my space and overpower me. If I train you to be the person that sits home and cook and clean and be my fucking slave in the house, that's another thing that people don't understand, the history of marriage, where everybody was talking about um the sanctity of marriage. When marriage started to be legal here, a whole legal institution, after slavery, it totally changed because you didn't have the fucking slaves to do the work for you. So who was your slaves now? Your fucking wife and your kids, who will grow up and help you tend to the land. It was your wife and your kids that was your slave now, because you couldn't enslave black people no more. And women couldn't get property. They couldn't legally get property in accounts and credit cards later on. But women was systematically pushed out of power. And they weren't trying to be chivalrous to protect women. That's what it was sold to women as. But it was to keep you in your fucking place. It was to keep you in your place as a woman, as beneath me. And we're gonna entangle this with fucking Christianity. We're gonna entangle this with the culture, romance, and books and novels and Juliet and Romeo and Shakespeare, and we're going to entangle this idea that you are this dainty flower needed to be taken care of, and we're going to make you this, you the wife. She's the mistress of the home. She's this amazing, chaste, pure thing. So much so that there's this book called Stamped. Am I talking about Stamped? No, what is that fucking book called? I can't think of it. Damn, why can't this book come to my mind? Follow me on Instagram. I will post the book on my Marsha's Plate page, just so I can remember what it is. But anyway, the author lays out how Puritan ideals, what was happening when white people were coming over here from Europe and they were trying to break away from Europe. When they were coming to the Americas, it was conservative people over here. It was what we would consider right-wing motherfuckers. So the Roman Catholic Church, was it Catholic Church? No, not Catholic. It was a Protestant. Anyway, the Puritan people. I think it was the Catholic. Who was the Italian? Was Catholics? Anyway, the Catholics were the more leftist. They were being real extra, accepting homosexuality and doing all kinds of, what we would consider left-wing ass shit. Not really, but to them, they were more on the progressive side, where the people who were coming over here to get were, people trying to get rid of that takeover. And so when they come over here, they start making when they separated from Europe, they start making these rules that were rules about family, what a family looks like. And it was full of white supremacists, pseudo-Christian type of ideals. Like you couldn't be gay, you couldn't no miscegenation. You can't fuck with the help, the slaves. You can't be messing with them. The most important thing in your life is your family. The family unit was the core thing about that kept economics the way they needed to be. They had a particular type of narrative about your life that you were supposed to be, and the laws and the rules started to reflect that. It wasn't just free for all, like they started to create the structure that we are living in now. Stamped from the beginning. Not Stamped. Stamped kind of go into it a little bit, but not from the gender perspective. Stamped is by Ibram X. Kendi, and it goes into it a little bit, but that's not the book my brain was trying to recall. Stamped goes into it though, but from a race masculine point of view. She goes into depth. She goes into depth. This woman, God, I wish it's not because it's a white woman. Her name is not coming to mind, but she goes into depth in regards to cases that revolve around homosexuality, that revolves around lesbianism, that revolves around marriages, that revolves around nuances of legal cases that didn't really match the narrative, but because it fit, like they were criminalizing women's homosexuality, but not criminalizing men's homosexuality. There was different cases in the same time that men who were being homosexual were not being criminalized because they had a certain power. And women who were being caught in homosexual relationship were being, hung and burned and fucked over. And so there were different cases that she was laying out that kind of laid out. I have to show y'all the book. I don't know. I don't remember the name. Yeah, so it was quite different. This was in the early time of Americas that she was laying out these cases and connecting the dots of how the family unit was core and central to upholding white supremacy and white womanhood, and how they were teaching people that actually any type of sex outside of procreation was not of God, was not of pure. So when you married a woman, a white woman, um, Sex, Love, Race, and Martha. That is a great book, but that's not what I'm talking about either. I have that book right there. Y'all need to read that book, but that's not what I'm talking about either. I love it. um, it's the reason why the name is I'll find it. But she lays it all out and she talks about connecting the dots. And it used to be a cultural thing that we don't even sleep with our wives unless we are trying to make an heir. Like unless we are trying to procreate. Like it is a cultural thing to put your white wife on a pedestal, to not even have nasty sex with her. And nasty would be too much, anal, oral, masturbating, anything that is outside the stick your dick in the pussy to shoot in it to make a baby. Anything outside of that was ungodly. It was not seen as right. It was not seen as good. So anything outside of that was kind of like freaky, and you do it on the down low and you didn't tell anybody about it. And this also includes fucking your slaves and anything outside of the norm. They were teaching that white women was this thing. Your wife was this pure, chaste thing that you are supposed to cherish. Yes, it was some handmade stuff. It was Puritan shit was some fucking handmade stuff. Definitely handmade. Definitely. Where they are second class citizens and they don't have the power. So even the idea of marriage was rooted in keeping you a fucking slave. Excuse me. Keeping you a slave to your husband, and keeping you in a situation where you could not leave him. You could not leave him if he was abusive. You couldn't have anywhere to go. You couldn't do a motherfucking thing. If he wanted to do whatever he wanted to do, you couldn't do anything because you couldn't even get property. You couldn't get any of that shit. So it was quite strange. Strange. And I wanted to have this conversation because these are some of the nuances about what is fair and how they really don't care about fairness, and how the research isn't efficient on both sides. And now, if it was, I would be on one of the sides. But the research is just not efficient on both sides. There are some nuances in sports and in the physical body that being born male could potentially give you some advantages in certain types of sports. In certain other types of sports, isn't just not true. So it depends on the sport. It depends on the circumstance. It depends on the level of testosterone and estrogen in the women that are competing. The cisgender women, it depends on the level of it's so many variables, and we have not studied and tested and done things fairly in that regard because we don't like I said, even in the cisgender arena, we are not being fair to them. Take trans out of it. Look at the runners in Africa, in Kenya, Caster Semenya, and many others in India. They are literally trying to make them change their natural bodies, their natural chemical makeup, because they have an advantage over the women who don't. And this is just in the women category, and they're only doing it to black women or dark women, POC. They're only doing it to them. And this is cisgender women. But then when we go to the men's side, there is no regulation on the men in regards to, is your testosterone way, way higher than the rest of the other men? No, when men have advantages, they study them. They put them little things taped to their chests and put them in little fucking tubes and in fucking weight to measure these things in their body. They celebrate them. They study them. They look at it and be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Michael Phelps, he produces 50% less lactic acid, so he doesn't fatigue like the rest of the people. But when it happens to Michael Phelps and he becomes this world-renowned swimmer, they don't look and say, "Oh, Michael Phelps, you need to take medicine to equal out your lactic acid." This is real talk. I'm not making this up. You to equal out your lactic acid so it can be fair to the other men. They're not telling Michael Phelps that. They're studying it and being amazed that the human body, some person has this amazing adaptation in their body that makes them this efficient swimmer. But then when you look at a Caster Semenya who has a naturally high testosterone that makes her faster than most women but slower than men, they don't look. They have to snuff it out and stop it. That's racist. It's sexist, and in some cases transphobic. Caster Semenya. Do you feel what I'm saying? So it's not. It's. I think I don't think we are looking at the nuances, and it definitely is not about fairness. It's about all these structures. This is why this is a hot button topic, is because it has the elements of all the oppressive structures that we see, and these motherfuckers on the other side are trying to ignore it, and the people on our side don't have enough evidence, and they are not making compelling arguments using the evidence that they actually have, some of it, or pushing to get more evidence so they can support their claim. And that's what I'm at. That's why I'm still on the fence. I want trans people to be studied all across the board. That's my secret. That's my agenda, my ulterior motive. I want trans people to be studied. I want I want the nuances of what's going on in our body. I want we taking hormone therapy and motherfuckers don't even want to have studies figuring out how this is affecting our bodies long term. I want those type of things happening so that we can have so that can be a part of our healthcare, so our healthcare can be more efficient. And I think these kind of conversations can push people to do what needs to be done when it comes to research around trans people's bodies and cisgender people's bodies, and how those nuances in people who are not trans but have nuanced chemical makeup in their body. Because if we have those conversations, these conversations about male and female, the biological, won't be as black and white as people think that they are. We would start teaching in our schools that there are people who fall in those gray areas, and not just on a I feel like a woman, I feel like a man, I feel well in my mind, because they trivialize that shit. I'm talking about on a biological level. There is a gray area that people can fall in. It's not just male and female. Everybody is over here or over here. No, there are people who fall in the middle. Just like with identity, biology, biologically, we have, those gray areas. So if we actually studied that shit and actually, there are some people that do, there are research out here in regards to those things. But if we actually did what we need to do in finding out about the nuances of the human body and taught them in our schools, that allow people to understand trans people more. So yes. All right. So this is the last 30 minutes. I hope y'all enjoyed that conversation and it gave y'all some things to chew on and think about. Thumbs up if you are still here and have been here from the beginning. Um, yes. So the last 30 minutes, I give y'all a chance to talk about whatever y'all want to talk about or want me to discuss. Anything that is fun. Let me see what people have been saying. My 11-year-old nephew competed with an all boys team against an all girls team. So many people were all for it. And though it was a good game, but there have been more complaints on trans playing. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like if it was just that, like it wouldn't have been a big deal. It would have been, but the fact that it is trans people trying to compete, it's the transphobia popping out. It's the transphobia for me. Ain't that what the kids are saying? Did you already talk about Jesse Smollett? I did not talk about Jesse Smollett. If you follow me on Twitter, my name is Diamond Stylz on Twitter. That's usually when I give my quick hot takes on particular subjects. Let's see what I wrote about on Jesse Smollett. So yes, it says my tweet about Jesse is it is hilarious to me that the people who support Rittenhouse getting off while because he actually killed people and injured folks are the same people who want to throw the book at Jesse Smollett for a victimless crime. That is so crazy to me. Y'all are fake. And so I said that because when I looked at the people responding, these are the same right-wing people who were Rittenhouse, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, when he actually killed people. Now, this doesn't, do I want Jesse Smollett to be held accountable for playing these silly ass fucking games with this hoax? Yes. Do I think he should go to get jail? No, I do not think he should go to jail. I think he should be fined. Think about what this is. This is a hoax. This is a lie. This is a fiasco. Nobody was harmed. Was there some tax dollars spent from fucking cops? Cops having to investigate this? Yes. Cops are corrupt and spend bullshit money on bullshit all the fucking time. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. You care about that little taxpayer money being wasted on Jesse Smollett, then you should be caring about defunding the motherfucking police. If that's the case, if you care that much, then defund the police, and then you ain't got to worry about your money being used on bull stuff. How about that? So anyway, should he be held accountable? Absolutely. You played silly ass games. You were you done had these boys, fine ass boys, I might tell you. And I don't know Jesse personally. Like Jesse is not my friend, but I'm really, really close friends with a really, really close friend with Jesse. And so I have an intimacy to the situation that anyway, I know Jesse is a size queen, honey. And so I know them niggas got some big old pieces. Them African boys. Cause honey, I know the type of pieces Jesse done had and he likes. So I know he had some fun with them. But you done got these boys, honey. to wear out this thing, and they done snitched on you and turned to the state, and oh, it was horrible. It was I Yes, should he be held accountable? Yes. CPD can kick rocks. Absolutely. Chicago Police Department, y'all are some of the y'all been crooked for centuries. If y'all don't get out of here, if y'all don't get the hell out of here, get the fuck out of here. Um, but yes, put him on probation, fine him or something, and boom. But I just thought it was crazy that this victimless crime, um, y'all are throw the book at him, da da da. But this dude actually took a fucking rifle, what is it, an AK-47 or whatever kind of gun he had, that little 17-year-old had, went to a protest, killed some people, killed and injured some people, but y'all are defending him, but y'all want to throw the book at the gay boy. Get out of here. Get out of here. Y'all not playing with me. Get out of my face. Y'all not playing in my fucking face. Fuck out of here. Was I disappointed in Jesse? Yeah, Jesse. Yes. It was some clown shit. It was a queen stunt. We know how the queen stunts. It was a unnecessary stunt, honey. The honey. But we know what the queens do. We know how the queens work. So, not the gay Tupac. Only reason why the right cares because there was a MAGA hat involved. Like that ain't out here committing acts of terrorism anyway. How about that? Stunt queen. Yes, this he was a stunt queen. And the stunt, he just got caught in his stunt. Do you know how many the queens be out here stunting? Child, it was a mess. Absolutely a mess. Should he hit, get probation and fined? Yes. Yep. Sure. But should he go to jail? No. I'm not gonna ever be for no somebody going to jail for a hoax. Get out of here. That didn't have nobody dying. Now it'd be different if a motherfucker died. But didn't nobody die. It was a fucking hoax, a lie. Okay, cool. Fine him. Ooh, one of my stocks got me some money. Got some dividends, baby. Ooh, I like that. Oh, da 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 da. Yeah. Ooh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So yes, that's what I think about the Jussie Smollett case. I think that he didn't plan the stunt out. He didn't do the stunt with people that he could trust. How much did we earn? We earned, I have 8 shares, and so I earned $2.25 for my 8 shares in dividends. That was reinvested. Oh, hey, yeah, yeah. Oh. Oh, girl, you can keep that. Thank you, baby. I I be seeing people make tons of money on this, doing the stock stuff. I invested $1,500 and I got a gig and I said I'm gonna put 15 in these stocks and 1,500. And honey, out of the whole and I did that at the beginning of this year. Out of the whole year, I have made $402.62 in money. So that's what percentage of that? So that's like a third of growth, third, a third of growth, 25. Well, no, a fourth, like 25% increase. That's not bad. 25%. I don't mind that. Impromptu runs. Yes. Ren, he did a project with YouTube, but it seems like when it came time to pay people for their talents, things went awry. Diamond has it on her Twitter feed. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked me about Justin. Who's Justin? Who mentioned Justin? What had happened with Justin J and the young lady? Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. So do I want to talk about this? Okay, I'm not gonna even talk about my involvement in anyway. So yes. So apparently Latasha, who is a YouTuber and content creator, Latasha and Justin King of Reeds, yes. Justin had an idea that he pitched to all his content creator friends, the ones he, I guess, cared about. He pitched it to them. Um, Child, it's so much mess. I have to go to it so I know for sure. 1 second. He pitched it to all of them for sure. All right. So when he pitched it to them, he asked them, he had the general idea. He asked them to contribute to that, to look over it, to see, add what needed to be added. So George M. Johnson, he has been on the show on Marsha's Plate. He wrote the book All Boys Aren't Blue, and he is actually coming under national attack from the right wing, trying to ban his book. And so, yeah, that's his claim to fame. He has a show coming out that is produced by himself and based on his book and Gabrielle Union. Yeah, so I think that's amazing. George came into the Google Doc and wore it out. Based on the receipts, George came in and said, added. He brought the noise, like he did the work. George did all the work. And look, from what I looked, even though it was Justin's idea, George came and fleshed it out. It puts Justin had the bones and honey, George came and gave it the meat and the feathers. you know. Yes, you are totally right, Gigi. Them. Thank you for that correction. Um, George came and did their thing. And so what George submitted, what George created, King cr- Justin submitted all that George gave, right? After that, like maybe a day after, Tasha comes and does these really minor edits in on the Google Doc, but it was already submitted. So the work that she's done on that document was not really anything. And he showed it in his video. It was like, you didn't really do nothing, girl. Like it literally showed that she really didn't do much. It was something, but nothing. Like it was like you can look at the color of the edits and see that George, they really put the work in. But she, Natasha, didn't really do much. Then she submitted a like a mood board of what it was supposed to be. And the mood board was so mediocre. Mediocre. When I tell you it was mediocre, what she presented, it was mediocre. Like anybody who creates content on that level, if you looked at that, that was such a low level um mediocre pitch. It was horrible. I was like horrible, but it's a 2000 pitch. Like old school, it just wasn't right. It just wasn't right. If this is your level of work, eek, I would have been quiet. I wouldn't have want this to be exposed. And so I that was the thing. So Justin put it out that she didn't nothing, and then the ideas that she had were not new, like round tables, and it wasn't new. There wasn't any kind of newness to that or original to her ideas. So they didn't use them. They didn't use any of them. And what he submitted, he had already submitted what he wanted to use to YouTube or whatever. So he never used any of her stuff. And she was presenting her stuff late because they both were going through death. They both Justin had lost his brother and Latasha had lost her friend. And they both were going through death, but she always presented her stuff either late or just wasn't efficient. It wasn't just good stuff. It wasn't good. And so when it was time for YouTube to give the budget and give the money, they gave it to Justin. And Justin they asked her what was her rate, and she said like $4,500. And Justin was like, "What? You didn't do nothing that was worth $4,500, girl. We want to pay you, but we want to pay you for the meetings. We want to pay you for a consult, maybe a consultation fee. But $4,500, baby, it's a child. You did not contribute to this project enough for $4,500. We want to pay you something, but not because this is money. It's not mine. I got the budget. So I want to pay you something because you're my friend, but $4,500 girl, no. We want to pay you for your consulting. What's your consulting fee? What the meetings that we had, let's pay for those. Let us pay for those, but contributing to the work, $4,500 worth, no. That I'm not paying that. And so she went over based on his admission, he was shutting down and he was actually getting a big head. Now, if he would have stopped right there, I felt like I would have been on his side and would have been right because what she contributed was quite whack. Pay her for her consultation, and that should have been enough. But one of the statements that he made was when she started asking about pay, when she started asking about the money, how are we going to get paid? Da 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 da. She wanted to be a part of it in a different kind of way, and he was like, "Well, we don't really need that." She wanted to be behind the scenes, and he was like, "Well, we don't really need that. We need more on the creative side. If you want to do that, then yeah, we can bring you on board." But she didn't want to do that, and so, but then when it was time to make that shit happen, she was already being weird, and so he didn't want to fuck with her. But he started being weird too. He started like he made a statement in his video where he was saying when she was coming to me about money, I was kind of like showing her off because that's not how the business work. I'm the general manager. You don't come to me, you come to the people who beneath me. And that's a level of bitch, you acting fucking Hollywood because you got a fucking YouTube budget, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. And so your friend who you brought, who because you didn't have the skills, you had the idea, but you didn't have the skills to do what needed to be done. You brought it to all your friends. Like, and one of those friends, you want to play the game of, I'm the general manager. Don't talk to me about money. Talk to this, talk to the money, talk to Antoinette, whatever. I think her name is Antoinette or something like that. Talk to Antoinette about money, not me. And you doing that to your friend? How come consulting fees weren't laid out from the jump? All right, so there a lot of people have this language about like legal language, like when it comes to contracts, like you like kind of like you're doing. Why weren't these things laid out from jump? Now that is a logical that is a logical statement, but when you are doing business with friends, sometimes things happen before those kind of ideas come up because there is a gray line when it comes to friends. And as much as you try to avoid it, as much as you try to, oh, I want to do everything right. I want to make sure I get my contracts, da da da. When you're dealing with friends, it is not always black and white like that. So sometimes people come to me, my friends, not some random people I don't know, but sometimes my friends have ideas that they run across me. And we are friends. So sometimes it's like we're talking and the idea is coming across. We're on the phone, we kicking about the trade, and then the conversation switch to, oh, I got something happening at work. Tell me what you think about this. And I'm actually technically consulting about the work. Do you see what I'm saying? But this is my friend. So even though I'm consulting, it's not like me and my friend talking and I'm gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna send you an invoice for my $250 consulting fee. Do you see what I'm saying? It don't always work like that. Sometimes that's the right way to do it. That's the like safe way to do it. You want to make sure you got your contracts and your info, all that kind of shit. But when you're working with friends and y'all are in the same business, it doesn't always work like that. It's like as if you're a musician and you tell your friend, hey, come to the studio. They come in and we are creating, they're singing a song and they're adding to da 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 da. When we sometimes the shit happen before the paperwork happens. Sometimes the magic of creation happens. Like, oh my God, that verse was tight you just spit. Write that down. Let's record that. Boom, 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 boom. Now, when it's time to sell the motherfucker, we got to say who is the writer, who contributed, what percentage of the sales do you get because you only added this little verse. You only did it. You get what I'm saying? Now we got to get into the nitty gritty and the details of it. But when it's happening, when we're in the moment, it's not like, oh, I'm not gonna sing that part until you sign this contract for. That's not how it works. It's just not how it works. That idealistically, that would be how it works, but that's just not how it works. And so, um, this was a friend bringing an idea to another friend. It was not consulting. It was technically my friend just looking over my work. Here's my research paper. Look at this and tell me what you think. You feel them? Does that make sense? I hope that makes it clear. So this is what was happening. Now, when the money started to happen, now that's business. And Natasha, this is where Natasha, I feel, was right. Now, her wanting $4,500, that was wrong. Girl, stop. But where I feel she was right. Now that you done got a budget, my nigga, and I have worked through this idea with you, whether I contribute a little bit or a lot of bit, whatever I contribute, I should be compensated. I should be compensated. So what is so? And you're my friend. Now how people handle their friends is totally different. Me, if a big corporation organization give me some coins and they give me a budget, I want to do whatever the project that I want to do. I want to make sure that project is right. But whatever amount of money that I can pass on to my Judies, I'm gonna do that. That's who the fuck I am. Cause this ain't my fucking money. So why am I tripping about long as my project can get done? You see what I'm saying? Now I ain't about to cut in my project money for you to get you paid. But if I have a whole budget to do my project and a little portion of this budget I can do and give to consulting, baby, I'm gonna give all my friends whatever kind of money I can give you, because it ain't my money. My bag already secure. So whatever the budget that I can pass out, child, I'm gonna do that. The fuck? And so you done establish, and this is what he kept doing. He kept switching back and forth to we friends and we not friends. We not friends like that. Oh, and then but y'all friends enough to where you running an idea past her. So you want to pick her brain. I hate when motherfuckers do that. You want to pick her brain because of her experience. But then when it's time to when she talking about money, you switching up on her, and you want to be, oh, I'm the general manager to ask those questions to somebody else. No, bitch, I'm asking you, just like you directly came and asked me for my my opinion about this fucking empty ass project you got that George had to come in and flesh out. I'm asking you directly because you're my friend. Just like you directly asked me to be involved in this motherfucker. So why can't I? Why I gotta go through a middle person when you're my friend, and you're treating me like a friend? That doesn't make sense. And so he wanted. Well, I just shut down, and I didn't like how. And so because he wasn't talking to her about her pay and making it clear to her and making it clear, she went over his head. She went to YouTube, went to the YouTube person. And so that person was like, "Oh, we already gave Justin the budget. So if you have any money issues, you got to talk to Justin." But then Justin's ego get in the way and say, "Oh, I don't she went over my head. Oh, I'm definitely not fucking with her now." Bitch, yes, I did go over your head because I feel like you owe me some motherfucking money. And you're not talking to me because you think I'm supposed to talk to the general because you the general manager and I'm supposed to talk to the person beneath you. What, bitch? Get the fuck out of here. You are whack. You are corny. That was corny. That was whack. That was late. And your ego got in your way. And so Latasha went on Twitter and called him out about not paying her what she felt like she contributed. Now, she didn't she cleared it up later on. She didn't she wasn't saying that he stole her idea. She was just trying to get paid for her contribution. So for whatever. And so instead of him being a big boy and saying, "Oh, well, this is what I feel you contributed. And let me show you how you contributed this. Yes, you did all this mood board, but we had already submitted this. This is what George did. They did this amazing work, and we used none of your ideas. We only used what George presented because it was so efficient, so much more efficient than yours." Maybe not say that because that can be messy, but we just went with George's idea. Their ideas was better. Their ideas was sickening. And so with her, honey, um she I felt like she should be paid for consultation, but not $4,500. That's a stretch, baby girl. That's a stretch. But George, being the great person that they are, George decided to pay mediate the situation. I think George paid her. I think they paid her. I think. I'm not sure. It got boring and silly. And then Justin came back and was like, I don't like how y'all, yeah, she's getting paid now, but it was never about not paying her. It was what I was paying her for. But nobody is holding her accountable for lying about what she contributed and saying that I stole her idea. Da 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 da. And so a whole bunch of mess. I think it honestly, based on my experience, and I don't want to go into details about my experience. Um, I think this is a situation of two messy people colliding. People who do things that you would side eye, and they came together, and they clashed. But at the end of the day, you are totally right, Ren. Who looked amazing was fucking George. Honey, they looked amazing. The work that they did, honey. If you want to work with somebody, work with George. That is who looked amazing in the whole situation. They should have negotiated. Yes, but he didn't bring it to her like that. So he left her in the dark, saying totally they should negotiate it, but he didn't bring it because his ego, he didn't bring it to her with just being honest. Say, hey, friend, we didn't use your stuff, but we want to pay you for a consultation. Da da da. He didn't bring it, so it left her in the dark. And when you leave people in the dark, especially black women, you leave me in the dark, I think you're trying to hustle me, especially if I'm dealing with the kids. Honey, not even honey, anybody. When you leave me in the dark, I'm gonna think you're trying to be shady. So of course I'm gonna do things that's like, oh, you trying to be shady, girl? Oh, now I gotta go in, I gotta maneuver in a different kind of way. I gotta take it to Twitter. I gotta go to the white folks because clearly I can't trust you. You shutting down. You're not telling me what's up. So now I'm gonna bring it to the YouTube people because you doing too much. You moving like a fucking op. You moving like a bitch I can't trust. So I'm gonna have to do what I need to do. And that's what Latasha did. I don't think she was wrong. I don't think she was wrong at all. In that part. I think she was wrong for expecting $4,500, honestly. But I don't think she was wrong when you're admitting that you shut down and you didn't make it clear to her. You saying it, but your other words that you're saying lets me know that you didn't make clear to her that you were not communicating well. You literally say that you shut down and you didn't want to talk to her about money because you were the general manager. That's not how things work. You don't come to me about money. You come to somebody else. You literally say that. So literally you wasn't communicating with her. And so she didn't know what was happening. And so she did what she had to do. Sounds like two alphas battling it out. I don't know about alphas, but two messy people. Two two people who two people who maneuver weird behind the scenes. And I'm saying this from experience. Without going into my own experience, two people who maneuver weird behind the scenes. They don't maneuver weird in public, but they maneuver weird behind the scenes, yo. And so, two people came together that maneuver weird behind the scenes, and that shit exploded because both of them motherfuckers maneuver weird behind the scenes. Both. So that's that. I don't know anything else. But now two creatives won't be working with each other again, which is good. Which is bad for the people who like their creations, but nevertheless, the motherfucking the actual project was good as hell. Like I love the conversation. Um love the conversation. That was really, really good. Let me get the link to that. I'm sorry. Oh, Yeah, I don't really follow Justin like that because he be having some problematic he be having problematic yes, he be having problematic things to say about trans people. Not just things to say about trans people, think hot takes about trans issues. Let me correct that. That is I don't know where to let me see if I can find the link to it. Okay, bam. Boom. Stop. I am going to yes, they had a great conversation about dating with HIV and just kind of tons of black queer people in the conversation. And it just, they had a cis woman. Marnena has been on my show. She's from Houston and she is living with HIV and she is a TikTok star now. And Marnena Miller. And she is such an amazing girl. She just amazing woman. And yeah, she's just really great. And so I'm glad that they had her included. George, they were a part of it, of course. Dominique Jackson from Pose. What else? Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it. Yes, it was wonderful. I loved it. Um, Powerful conversations. Some moments were weird. Kayla Bia, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but yes, people. Tons of people. Not tons. It was one, two, three, four, five, six people. Six, yes. They had like a brunch. They had a queer woman of color fixing the food. It was good. It was a great conversation. So that's a link to it. Check it out. I hate that the mess that was happening. Um LaBeija. Okay, yes. I hate that the mess that was happening was kind of overshadowing the goodness of the project. Yeah. There were people, they just had such a wide range. They had people who, contracted in sex, and then some people who were born with HIV. Because people don't they forget about them. There's some people who were born with HIV because their parents had it, or because they contracted it through their birth or whatever. And then there was usually it's AMAB people like trans people or gay men, but they had a cisgender woman in the conversation, which I love when you show all of those kind of nuance because those things kind of break um those stereotypes up. And I think of people who are living and thrive and showing people who are thriving and how different the conversation is about HIV in 2021, 22 compared to that antiquated view that we had in the late 80s and early 90s. I think we are in a total these many years later, 20, 20, 25, 30 years later, we are having a very different conversation. We are in a very different place when it comes to HIV and the fight to thrive around the disease that we were having back then. And so I think showcasing that and showcasing where people are and what it looks like, and conversations about disclosure, and it just was amazing. They had it was just great. It was great. So make sure y'all check it out. Yeah, that was good. I think I got enough time for one more question. What else y'all want to talk about? What else is happening? What's going on in y'all life? I had to cuss. I had to cuss. One of my, I don't want to say friends, one of my associates out. Child, I had to cuss one of my associates out because I don't know if she got dementia or something. But 1 second, I don't know if she got dementia or something. But she hit me up and was going out the side of her face, and I didn't understand. Um, but this is a trans woman, kind of masculine of center. Like she's a trans woman, but she's like masculine of center. She's not like, you know, she's not like the most feminine, and she doesn't want to be. She wants to be, a special, you know, not special. I don't know how to describe it. She's masculine of center, but she's a trans woman. She identifies with being a woman. And so we were a part of this, we were on the board of this organization. And the board sent us all on a retreat, right? And so any kind of business retreats, they are really to either um like strategic planning, they are strategies of, the programming, or strategies of fundraising, strategies of bringing camaraderie with the team, like actually letting the team get to know each other and make connections, because that produces better connectivity and better quality work when you know who you're dealing with and know the strengths of who you're dealing with. And so, I've been on a lot of these retreats. And so this was a retreat to, they had rented a beautiful Airbnb in Springfield, Massachusetts. And it was fall. It was beautiful. Like this isn't, it wasn't whatever the equivalent to, how the beach is, when we think about paradise, we think about the beach, or, something like that. And when you look at it, it's like, God, this view is so beautiful. Whatever the New England equivalent to that is, not beach, but the beauty of the scenery of where we were. Like the trees changing colors, the roads, the ambiance of where the house was located was like a fucking retreat, like a fucking spa, New England retreat. It was amazing. It was in Springfield, Massachusetts. And so the vibe of the whole trip was amazing. It was really, really good. Like, this is not a place that I would have spent my money to come to, because I never been here and I wouldn't think that it was the bomb. But when I got there and we was driving to the spot, we like, not we, I'm like, this is nice. This house is fire. The house reminded you of it, think about Adam's Family. This is the best way I can describe it. Y'all remember like Adam's Family, like you know, with Angelica Houston and Wednesday, Christina Ricci. But think of the Adams Family style of house without it being dark. Think the opposite. Without it being like this dark Adams Family house. Think about if the Adams Family house was bright and lovely. That's the best way that I can describe it. It's a tons of rooms. It's a big ass, not a mansion, but shit, like a Victorian style mansion, kinda. Not it just was beautiful. But it was bright and beautiful instead of dark and like Adam's Family. Does it make sense? And there was amazing trees. It was fucking sickening. And so anyway, I'm telling y'all more about the place and the situation. So when we go in there, we are there with the whole team. And I love all the shingle style houses in Massachusetts. Yes, it was amazing. So when we go in there, the everybody is getting along. I am helping to cook because I could cook. Um Everybody is just seems like the vibe is going perfectly except for her. Like it's something about her that she's clashing with everybody. Now, mind you, we're coming to a space of retreat. There is no stress in this situation. There is nothing that should be a clash. It's nothing that should be a clash. But she is bumping heads with people. Like she is saying like little smart shit. Like she keeps getting smart with people. She keeps Now, mind you, this is my first time meeting her, and she's an elder. She's much older than me, and she's one of the co-founders of the Philly Trans Health Conference. So, if anybody knows, the Philly Trans Health Conference now called the Philly Wellness Conference, but it was organized, and the idea came up through a Black woman named Charlene, and and it was other people that helped her, and this is one of the people, old elders. So there's a reverence that I have for trans old elders regardless of their attitude. It is a reverence and a respect, just like if you're talking to older Black woman that you know been in the neighborhood for a long time. That's kind of how I feel around trans elders, especially the ones that have done work, not just being old, but the ones who have done work in the community. And so I'm very respectful. I'm very like you would be around an older mother, a queen mother type person. And so, but I'm also the type of bitch that being old don't get you no respect from me if you're being a bitch. If you're being a hole child, I that respect and reverence switches fast. Cause you got me and so she was on my last nerve. So this whole trip, she was on my nerve. She wasn't stomping on it, but she was on it like this, like putting her foot on it, not pushing down, but like just sitting on it. And I was like, let me to avoid me going off on this lady, let me kind of stay away from her. Like I didn't so I didn't sit and talk to her. Like anytime there was a moment for us to talk, like we left in the room, I would get up and leave because she has just a combative spirit. She's just nasty. Like it's just something about her that was just nasty. And so I wasn't the only one picking up on it. And so other people were doing that with her as well. And so by the end of the trip, she started to have like this emotional breakdown because she felt like people were connecting, but they were being standoffish to her. And so she had this at like maybe like the night before the day before the last day, so second to last day, she had this breakdown about people are not trying to connect with her when she had wants to have conversations. They go do something else. They leave, and da 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 da. So she doesn't feel like the purpose of this trip, which was to create camaraderie within the board, she doesn't feel like she's being a part of it. She's this trip has made her feel lonely. And so we all looking like, because you're a fucking bitch. Like you are, because you are. And so we all lay out our grievances about how she has been acting and things that she's been saying. And I'm trying to give you an idea of something that she would do. Do y'all remember that moment of y'all remember that moment with Patti LaBelle was on Tyra Banks' show with the white woman and cupcakes. It's a viral video. The white woman, Patti LaBelle, was showing the audience that there was paper on the cupcake. So she had washed her hands, but she wasn't touching the cupcake. There was paper on it. And the white woman mistakenly thought that she was trying to eat the paper. And the white woman was like, "Do y'all remember this?" The white woman was like, "No, you don't eat the paper." And Patti LaBelle was like, "No, boo, that's not what I was trying to say. I'm not trying to eat no fucking paper." Do y'all remember that? I don't know if y'all remember that. But she was being like that white woman. She would say little, but it was more condescending and um just being nasty for no reason, like being nasty, just being like smart mouth and nasty and saying condescending stuff and being aggressive and just annoying, just very, very annoying. And so when we all laid it out, when she had her little breakdown and we all laid it out, I say, "Look, I don't really know you. This is the first time that we met on this trip, and I don't really know you. But based on how you have engaged with me, if we were in any other situation, I would have cussed you out because of your mouth. And it's not about policing your tone. It's about you are being aggressive and shady and cunty, and I don't like that with people. That it's just a way that you're handling me that I don't like. And um you're being condescending, you're being shady." And everybody else, now that I'm listening to everybody else is picking it up because you're doing it to them too. And so because we're on this trip that's supposed to be positive, we kind of are staring back from you. And that's what I have been doing. Last night when you tried to stay in that, when you were trying to have a sisterly moment with me in the kitchen after being shady for this whole trip, I left that kitchen because it was time for sisterly moment should have been in the beginning. And so by the end of the conversation, she apologized to everybody because everybody was having the same problem with her. And she was like, "I'm socially awkward and I'm neurodivergent." Is that how you say the word? Yes, I'm this. It was all these excuses about her awkward social behavior. And that's all fine and good. Okay. Okay, cool. Great. That's all fine and good. Okay. But um those are not excuses for me. And she apologized though, so I was like, "Great. No, no problem." We all said no problem, blah blah blah. And I don't have to see this lady ever again. My job on the board is my job on the board. Your job on the board is your job on the board. I'm never gonna see you again. And just because we on the board, we can still do our meetings together. We can, as long as we doing our jobs, we good. Boom. And so I had no intentions in befriending this lady ever again, never talking to her. It's just leave it professional, leave it cordial. So she added me on Facebook and she started following me. Then she started following me on YouTube. Then she started listening to the live show. She started listening to the podcast. She started doing, supportive things or whatever. So that warmed me up. I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And so when she would hit me up with general conversation, early on she was like, I'm wanting to make sure I'm saying sorry again, and I'm saying sorry again. I want to make sure we are on a good standing, and so we can go on with our friendship. I say, "Sure, yeah, okay, sure, da da da." So every time she would hit me up, we would have general niceties, like just normal, nice conversation, blah, 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 blah. So today, now mind you, sometimes she gets a little weird. That weirdness come back because this is her personality. And so when she started getting weird, I just, okay, girl. I was like, all right, and kind of move on. But today, I had to go off on her. This is what she said today. It's random. Now we don't talk about anything. It's just like, hey, how you doing? Everything's fine. How are you doing with you? Oh, that's great to hear. Boom, boom, boom. So today I wake up from my nap and it is like 1:30. I wake up at 3, but at 1:30, she sends me a message saying, no, she sends me a Zoom link. And I'm like, why is she sending me a Zoom link? Now, mind you, we haven't talked since November 19th. She sent me, well, we haven't talked, wait, since July 16th. Now, she has sent me message, but I ignored them in October and November because she gets weird. So I ignored her. And so she sent me a Zoom link. I'm not about to get on a Zoom call with you. No. And that was like at 1:00, 1:30. And then like at 1:35, she says, are you there? And she tried to video call me on Facebook. I don't like when people do that. I don't like when people video call me and I don't even know that the video call is coming. Um, so when I wake up at 3:30, so this is 2 hours later, I say, hello, question mark, question mark, question mark. And she says, I waited the better part of 2 hours. Where have you been? I say, now mind you, I haven't talked to her since July. It's not, she's talking to, I don't know. She's talking to me like we dated, like we had some date plans, or she's talking to me like we had set up an appointment, and I didn't make the appointment, and I'm 2 hours late from the appointment. She's talking to me like I knew that we were supposed to talk. And so I say, I'm on my own schedule, not yours. Don't come at me like that. The fuck? Because remember, in the situation in Springfield, I had already told her that my patience was out. When you get extra with me, the next time, I'm gonna wear you out. I'm gonna cut you out. I'm gonna come at you like I would come a normal person. So the grace is gone. That's what we talked about in Springfield. And so she says, I can appreciate when I say don't come at me like that, the fuck? And she says, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. I just wish you told me you had stuff to do. The things I will show you will be great use of you and be able to you will be able to make use of them quickly. I don't know what this lady is talking about. So I'm like, is this like what? This can't be real because I don't talk to this lady. We ain't talked since July. So what is happening? What is this coming from? I say, what are you talking about? We didn't have any meeting scheduled to meet or speak. So why would I be telling you what I had to do? That doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? What's going on? Do you have dementia? So I hit our mutual friend up and I was like, what is going on with her? Does she has dementia or something? Like, what's happening? Like, is something? And my friend said, yeah, I think there might be some cognitive issues happening with her. And I sent screenshots, and he was like, yeah, she's tripping. Like, I don't know what's happening. How the hell did she get this position on the board? Well, because she's good at what she does. So I gotta say that. Now I don't know if she's not on the board no more. But when she first got on it, she was regular. She's regular. She was regular. She wasn't like this apparently. Um, I say, what are you talking about? We didn't have any meeting scheduled to meet or speak. So why are you telling me why would I tell you what I had to do? That don't make sense. And she says, I understand that the world doesn't revolve around me. I understand that. But this is a gift that I wanted to give you and you and your mom. I thought you understood that. Bitch, what? so so now you bringing my mom. So y'all know I'm going through the process of grieving my mom. So I don't know what this hoe is talking about. And then she says, I guess I'm wrong. Well, I apologize. Give me a second. I was like, what are you know my motherfucking mom? My mom is dead. What are you talking about? And she says, isn't your mom Angie Dawson? No, you don't know my mother. What are you talking about, lady? And I guess she goes to my page or something. I don't know what happens. But she says, oh my God, I am so sorry. I know who you are now, girl. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I thought you were my niece. Her name is Diamond too, and I got it mixed up. She looked like you. Y'all could be twin sisters. Baby. I'm like, ma'am, I had to delete her off my page. Because she is weird and I don't know what's happening here. And if this, whichever one of these are true, whether you going crazy or you mix me up with some random niece that you got, this is weird. Get out of my face. And so I had to delete her. So she's probably gonna watch this and be like, I didn't know you deleted me, but yes, I had to delete your baby because it's just getting weird and I don't have time for it. I work with an older woman like that. She is a very difficult personality. Yes, oh child. I have to let it go. Think you better let it go. Let it go. Look like another love TKO. Mm. But all right, we've been on here for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And that's all I have to talk about. Let me see what I got coming up. Um, I added a new host on Marsha's Plate. So I just posted that um video. I did not video, I just posted that episode up earlier today. So check that out. Jonathan is going to be our new it's going to be added to me, Mia and Z. Just to balance out two trans women, two trans men. Um yeah, so there's that. What else I got going on? Nothing else. Nothing else. Like I said, December is going to be my self-care month. It is tomorrow I am going to be recording my tricks of the trade video for December because I couldn't get to it because I was out of town that first week. But I'll be recording that tomorrow and posting that soon. Either, Monday or Tuesday. Or Tuesday. I think it's gonna be Tuesday. So be looking out for that. I will see y'all. Make sure y'all thumbs up and comment down below and share. I will see y'all. What's next week? Right? Next week is the 17th. Yes. I'll see y'all the 17th. I won't see y'all the 24th because I'll be in Mexico. But the 17th. I will see y'all on the 17th. Bye y'all.